Hi everybody, I'm Dan Bickford, host of Carolina Rides. Thanks for joining our next episode. It's going to be kind of a continuation of last week. We head back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway, but first, we of course are always looking for ideas and comments and questions you might have. We're available on the social media. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Of course, you may already be watching this on YouTube, and if so, thank you. You can also catch us on WSPA Plus, our free streaming app for WSPA TV that can be downloaded right to your smart TV. I mentioned a continuation of last week. We were talking about the Charlotte Motor Speedway last week. This week, we're getting a little bit more specific into an event that's happening the weekend of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's the ROVAL course at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. The Bank of America ROVAL 400 being the main event of that, happening on the 5th. That's the NASCAR Cup Series. There's an Xfinity Series race on the 4th and the Craftsman Truck Series race on the 3rd. As part of Affiliate Day, we'd like to thank the Charlotte Motor Speedway for having me out and also providing some of the video you're going to see with the drone and some of the GoPro video and all that. But it allowed us an opportunity to not only get a first-hand look at the track, but also talk to some of the drivers who are going to be racing around the track over the course of the weekend. One such driver, NASCAR Cup Series driver Tyler Reddick. Got to ride with him. You'll get to see the interview with him as well. Got to spend some time in the car with Brandon Jones, Xfinity Series driver, and also talked to Craftsman Truck Series driver Gio Ruggiero, all of whom will be racing over the weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway. First up was my ride with Brandon Jones. Keep in mind, we did not use actual race cars due to liability issues and limited practice time they're allowed on the track. Well, here I am about to start the ROVAL with Brandon Jones, Xfinity race car driver. I mean, you're ready. The question is, am I?
Well, we're about to find out for sure. I mean, this is one of the coolest, unique road courses that we go to on the schedule. You can see everything from the grandstands, which that's my favorite part. I think about people coming to the track, watching this event, right? You can get up in these stands and you can see this whole place. And it's really, really fast paced too. So yeah, this is a fun track. It's kind of basically technically home for all of us racers. We're all based out of Charlotte, North Carolina here. So we can all drive and sleep in our own beds and come here on the race day and show up and be ready to roll.
All right, well, we're going to turn the camera around and we're going to take a look at the track now.
Let's do it. All right. This is actually a pretty crucial part of the track here because this is not where you would race, but this is coming off of pit road. And there's a lot of speed to be made here, especially when you're doing green flag pit stops, because you have to kind of maximize that whole section. But one thing pretty wild about this track is it's very flowy, it's very high speed, but there's also a lot of really blind corners, I guess is what I would call them. You know, there's a lot of sections where you think there's a turn, but you also can't see over the next hill and you don't know what's on the other side of it, and you see a lot of guys pile into each other, wrecking each other at this track. So
how much extra mental thought goes into the fact that, okay, we're making multiple turns left and right as opposed to just an oval course? Because, you know, you do most of your races kind of around the ovals, and now it's something different.
Yeah, I mean, you know, road course racing is really not in my DNA. It's not in what I grew up racing and learning how to do. So it's taken me a while to figure this out, but it definitely is a fun challenge, and I've been getting, you know, really close to being a top 5 to winning contender at these tracks now. So it just takes a whole new mindset. There's absolutely zero room for error at a road course. That's kind of what I've been learning, is you can't really mess a corner up. If you do, it throws off the next 3 to 4 corners. And so you have to be really disciplined at these racetracks and make sure, you know, you
just to be honest with the viewers, we're not in an actual race prepped car here.
Yeah, we're not.
So, well, the question then becomes, obviously, you've got, race cars that would be rear-wheel drive. This is front-wheel drive. So
Sure.
how is that handle different?
It's very different, yeah, because in a rear-wheel drive true race car, you can manipulate the car with that. You can make it turn in different things. You can use the throttle to your advantage. With this, you have to think a little bit opposite, honestly. You got to think that it's going to pull you around the track rather than want to kick the rear end out and make it turn. So it definitely takes a new mindset driving the street version of what I have on the track. All right, we'll do a really fun lap here. So this is getting on to turn 1 up here in the front stretch. Gonna stay way out here. It's a really unique, interesting corner. And let's see. It's really hard to see the backside of some of these corners.
If it's hard to see the backside of the corners when you're on the track racing, how hard is it then to see the other cars?
I think that's where you see a lot of the wrecks and a lot of craziness happen, is people don't expect people to be turned around on some of these, and you crest over these hills and there's cars sitting there. You're like, oh man, I was not ready for that.
Now, in a typical race, on a ROVAL, for example, what kind of speeds are you generally running?
We probably generate about 156, 160 miles an hour here, and it really comes from having these big oval parts of the track.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you really can get some big speed. This is our tightest corner we come to, and actually a super important corner because it leads onto this huge straightaway we're going to get up to. So whoever's the first person back there onto the gas, he's going to win every single time. It's also a great passing zone. So yeah, you can tell that like this is where your speed's made. I mean, you get up on this oval.
Well, that was my next question too. Obviously, the passing strategy is going to be definitely different on a ROVAL course than if you're just running the full oval.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's, that's what's kind of cool about this track too is, it presents itself with a lot of good chances to make some passes with these oval corners. You see a lot of guys not pass at the right time, but you can tell with the really experienced, good road racers, they always put their car in the good passing zones, which there's a couple here. All right, well, cool. There's a lap at the Charlotte ROVAL.
That was quick.
It's very fast. Yeah,
that went faster than I thought. When I've seen people going around, they're taking it easy.
Yeah, for sure. It's a fast road course for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Brandon, thank you very much. Of course, you can catch him on the Xfinity Series on the CW62. Thanks for the ride.
Awesome, guys. Hope you enjoyed it.
Next up was a ride with Tyler Reddick. It was a fun ride, but recording the video didn't go quite as well. And I'm off on round 2 with Tyler Reddick, NASCAR driver at Cup Series.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Doing good, man. Having a blast here today, giving around some rides, and trying to hit these corners as fast as I can in the Camry, and then see what I can do in the Supra as well.
Yeah, it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. I can't hold it. I can't hold it in one position.
The last 2 times I've been through turn 4, I've been off in the grass, and it's making me laugh.
After my ride, though, I still got a chance to catch up with Tyler. Obviously, that course is a little different than just the typical oval course. What are the different ways you have to attack the course that are, how do you think differently as you go through a course like that?
Yeah, you got your big braking zones for the chicanes, and obviously the hairpin has become a larger braking zone than the previous layout. But the rest of this racetrack is very, very flowy. You kind of have to be kind of in tune with your car and understand what it's willing to do. Try to be precise, as you kind of got to see and experience. The way this track kind of races, the racing groove itself can be very narrow in the infield, and precision is super important. If you're off a few inches rather, at any of the apexes, it can really hurt your lap time. So obviously having a good understanding for what your Toyota Camry is going to do out there on the racetrack is important, but having a good mindset and understanding approach for the different sections around this track are very key.
You mentioned precision. Obviously, that is going to change your strategy when it comes to trying to get around other cars.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you just got to get creative. You have to think outside the box sometimes. You know, with the chicanes, you know, you have your opportunity to outbrake somebody with the hairpin as well. But sometimes, man, it's just about getting the guy out of rhythm in front of you. You can do that. You know, you're going to open up an opportunity for yourself to hopefully make a pass.
You've obviously, we're getting towards the end of this season. I mean, how do you feel concerning this track and how this sets you up for going forward?
Yeah, the last 2 years we've come into here below the cut line and needing to score a lot of points to advance. The last 2 years we've been able to do that and survive the round of 12. So for me, that gives me a lot of confidence. I've been in stressful situations these last 2 years at this racetrack, and us in this 45 team have been able to rise to that occasion and perform good enough to advance. So it's nice knowing that I've been able to win a pole here before. We got good speed at this racetrack. Yeah, nonetheless, when we've been put in tough spots, we've been able to get the job done and move on.
I also checked in with Craftsman Truck driver Gio Ruggiero. What are some of the biggest challenges of being one of the younger drivers on the Craftsman Truck Series?
I don't think it's a challenge. I don't think my age is a challenge for me. I just think that, you know, experience-wise, not have been going to most of these racetracks before is kind of something that puts me at a little bit of a disadvantage to my opponents. But I just try to study the best I can and use all the tools that I have, like the Toyota simulator, to help get up to speed and get ready for these racetracks.
Compare the difference between driving, say, the Tundra behind you on this track versus one of the actual trucks. And then, of course, obviously, you've been driving some cars in your career as well. What's the difference in the feel between a NASCAR-level truck versus a car?
Yeah, I feel like this thing's definitely a lot heavier than the truck that I race, but I think it's pretty cool to race it out there or drive it out there. It doesn't have the same power, obviously, as the race truck does, but it handles pretty well and drives good over the curbs, and I've been using the brakes up on it pretty well today.
And then between like a Craftsman Truck Series truck and then just a regular race car, what are the differences in that in terms of handling, in terms of how you're able to move about the track?
I think the biggest difference is just obviously the body shape and how that affects you in dirty air and all aero aspects. I think racing the truck is a lot more difficult in navigating traffic and dirty air. So that's been one of the biggest things I've had to learn this year, is how to set yourself up to make a pass and how to be in good positions around people.
Now it's back to the press room to check in with all three drivers.
I know as a rookie, you're probably seeing a lot of tracks for the first time in the Craftsman Truck Series, but I wonder how you approach a new racetrack, and especially one that's going to be as unique and different as the ROVAL, as you're getting ready for the weekend.
Yeah, I'm excited for the ROVAL. I've raced legend cars here on the quarter mile, so this is a pretty cool place, and been here before, just never on the ROVAL. So I've done 2 road courses this year and finished 3rd for both of them. And going to a new track that no one else has been to, I feel like kind of evens out the playing field for me. You know, I've really not been to any of the tracks that I've ran at this year, where most of my competitors have. So, you know, I think we'll be a more even playing field at this one. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been coming here for as long as we've been doing the ROVAL. So it's a fun racetrack for me. I mean, it's a really fast-paced road course. It doesn't take a very long time to make a lap time here, so the intensity of the race is up. And I think always what's cool is, you know, I've never really witnessed it because I'm always in the race car racing it, but the thing that I think about when I come here for a fan to enjoy the track is, you know, road racing is so fun and so cool, but, you know, for a spectator, you only get to see normally a corner or two if you're lucky or wherever you're sitting. Here you can get up in these grandstands and I think pretty much see the entire racetrack from the stands. So that's always the one thing that I think is so unique about coming to this racetrack is you get both worlds and you can kind of see the whole event.
Yeah, I think just over the years, just how sketchy these cars seemingly drive on the infield here falls right in my comfort zone. I like being uncomfortable, and just the changes they've made to the chicanes over the years, I've enjoyed. They're becoming more and more of a true chicane, a true corner you have to slow down for. You know, the first chicane on the backstretch was really exciting because it was really hard to hit, but now it's more of a true braking zone in a corner where you can make a pass. The changes they made over specifically in turn 7, you know, that whole section used to have to really flow, and it was really narrow, hard to make moves, and now you've got a giant braking zone and I believe the sharpest corner that we have in the Cup Series. So yeah, just the changes they made to this track over the years, I think just has helped me. Yeah, it's just one I've really come to enjoy.
Coming up next, a look at the rest of the weekend events surrounding the Bank of America ROVAL 400. Jonathan Coleman from the Charlotte Motor Speedway joins us. Stay with Carolina Rides. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Carolina Rides. Joining me now, Jonathan Coleman, the Senior Director of Communications for the Charlotte Motor Speedway. If he looks familiar, he was on last time too. And this time, we are focused on race weekend on the ROVAL. Kind of give us a little thumbnail description as to what we're expecting, what we're having, what is going on.
Yeah, we are expecting chaos, pandemonium, just absolute craziness. And we couldn't be more excited about it because that's always what puts on a great show for the fans. So we're kicking off the Charlotte race weekend, the Charlotte ROVAL race weekend in NASCAR's playoffs. So we're going to have racing from all 3 of the top series. It's actually the first time the Craftsman Truck Series has ever raced on the ROVAL configuration. So we know sort of the pandemonium that will come along with that because it's new to everybody and fresh and different. But then we've also got really important races in the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series as the field starts to whittle itself down to who are going to be those final contenders in the championship hunt at the end of the season.
Now, obviously, that starts Friday, and it's going to be the Truck Series first, and then Xfinity on Saturday, and then the Cup Series on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Really kicking off with a bang on Friday. It's all about the fans as we've got folks that are coming from all across the country and even several different locations internationally that will be coming into town. And we're going to have what we're calling Fan Friday. So we'll have Joe Gibbs Racing Fan Fest out in our fan zone with driver appearances from the Xfinity Series and Cup Series guys on the Joe Gibbs Racing slate. They're going to do some autographs and kind of talk up the weekend, preview the weekend for fans. That's actually going to roll right into a hauler parade. So we're going to have all of the Cup Series haulers that basically parade right through the fan zone and, you know, throw out candy. They've got their own driver music, kind of walk up songs, if you will. So a really fun way to get folks excited for the weekend ahead. And then from there, we've actually got a concert with NASCAR favorite Tim Duggar that's going to be performing. So want to get fans in town early, looking for something to do and get excited about the full weekend of racing ahead. You know, come on out and catch the trucks on track and then stick around into the evening as we get ready to welcome the rest of the weekend and all of the excitement that's in store.
See, this is how I know I'm working with a true professional. I was going to ask about the fan experience, the Fan Fest, and he just went right into it. It was fantastic. Talk a little bit more about, is that something that you've got to be, some of that fan stuff, is that all free? Or is there something that you have to be ticketed for?
Yeah, so the Fan Fest and the Fan Zone is actually right outside of the racetrack. So it's about 10 acres that is spread out. It'll be the souvenir rig, so you can grab the latest driver merch. We've got an entertainment stage, so we'll have driver appearances throughout the weekend, that sort of thing. All of that is free and open to anybody that wants to come out and take part and get in on the action. Obviously, our hope is you'll stick around and grab a ticket and hop inside and catch some of the on-track action as well. But it's not necessary to have a ticket for anything that's taking place out in the fan zone.
Let's talk a little bit about the ROVAL course itself. What was the genesis behind, hey, we're going to do that, when we're dealing with a track that people think usually about, okay, they're going in the oval, everybody's turning left, and now this is going to be something a little bit different and is something a little bit different. What was the inspiration behind, hey, we're going to have this as an event?
Yeah, we talk a lot about being constructively discontent. We never want to kind of rest on our laurels and just think we've got it all figured out. So what can we do? Again, getting back to that fan experience, what can we do to mix things up and to change up the racing experience, the weekend experience for our fans? For more than 65 years, we've had an oval track. the Coca-Cola 600 is a staple on the NASCAR calendar. And when we started to look at our fall event, we said, some things are just too good to mess with. So the 600 we don't want to do anything with, but what can we do in the fall to give fans something different? And back in the 2016, 2017, fans were looking for more road course races. They wanted to see if these are really the best drivers in the world, they ought to be able to compete on any different kind of surface, any different kind of track. So much credit to Marcus Smith, the CEO here at Speedway Motorsports. He said, well, what if we took the oval course and added a little bit of an infield road course section, to be able to test the drivers, not just on the high banks and the high speeds of an oval, but test their technical abilities in tighter corners and more of a flat areas of the infield. So we designed and created the ROVAL, which is part road course and part oval. It's unlike anything else on the circuit because of that kind of hybrid nature with the oval track and the road course itself. And from a fan experience, it's unlike any other road course because most of the seating section, you can see the entire course. So there's not another road course that you go to where you have, you can see what's happening on the front stretch chicane and what's happening on the back stretch and all of those passing zones and tight technical corners in the infield as well. So it really has created a unique fan experience, a unique competitor experience, and we've seen it play out even from our inaugural event in 2018 when you had the first two drivers, Martin Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson, were jockeying for position on literally the last corner of the race. They came together and spun each other out, and Ryan Blaney snuck through and got the win. So that you build the hype and you create something new and different, and then you see it pay off. Really, from the first race, and each subsequent year, there've been plenty of memories on the racetrack and plenty of great action for fans to enjoy as well.
How has fan response been to this?
It is. I think there was some, we don't really know what we're going to expect. We don't really know what to see. But I think they love the idea that, hey, I can go to Charlotte and see an oval race in the spring if I want to see an oval race. I can go and see something completely different in the fall, but I can have my same seats. I can have my same parking spot, my same group of friends that are out there for the tailgates. And I think, when you look at the success of the racing and the excitement behind the racing, whether that's racing for the win or, in both the Xfinity and the Cup Series, it's also a cutoff race. So there's a lot of drama that's happening throughout the field because you may not win the race, but you need to finish in the top 10 in order to advance in the playoffs, or you need to, finish ahead of driver X. So, I think the fans have come to see that you can create something new and different, and it's a challenge for the drivers. And ultimately, that pays off for the fans because it's something that's pushing those drivers outside of their normal and outside of their comfort zone. And that's going to lead to more intense racing and more exciting racing on the track.
I know I'm a big fan of it, and of course the first part of this program we saw some of the video from the track, from the ROVAL course, and let me tell you, it's a lot of fun. And if you don't think for a moment when you think about some of these drivers on these oval courses, and yeah, you have to know what you're doing, but now it's the ROVAL, and you may think you know how to drive, but these people are on a whole other level.
I can't imagine who you're going to root for on Sunday at the Bank of America ROVAL 400, having gotten the chance to see Tyler Reddick, in his office, right, in his element, kind of doing what he can do. It's unlike anything else when you can really sit there and see how on edge these drivers are, corner after corner, lap after lap, knowing that, one little slip up here and there is the difference between going home with the trophy and going home with your tail between your legs because you just lost your chance at a championship at the end of the day. It is incredible to me, how every little bit matters. Every corner matters. We say that over and over because you never know which one's going to jump up and bite you and bring your day to an early end.
I'm going to pop up the website here one more time because we are looking at the information about the ROVAL 400. And obviously, if anybody has any questions or they want to buy tickets, going on in terms of all the events, camping, it's all right here.
Yeah, and that's definitely your one-stop shop. I would say check out the website and you can get the full weekend schedule, find out more information about that Fan Fest and all the different happenings in the fan zone. You know, read up on Ernest, who's going to be playing our pre-race concert on Sunday down in the infield before we drop the green flag on the Bank of America ROVAL 400. Figure out how you can upgrade your experience, whether that's grabbing a track pass so you can be down there on the infield before the drivers jump in their cars and take the green flag. You know, grabbing a race scanner so you can listen to the radio and all the team communications as they're getting started. Yeah, it's a great tool to really plan your weekend and make sure you're making the most out of your time with us here at America's Home for Racing.
That is great. Jonathan, thanks for joining Carolina Rides, and good luck with the race weekend, and hopefully it's a great race.
Thanks so much, Dan.
And thank you for joining Carolina Rides. Until next time, drive safely. See you later.